Ever wondered what really happens behind the scenes when a pope passes away? It's a moment steeped in centuries of tradition, a blend of public mourning and secret, almost mythical rituals. This isn't just about a world leader's death, it's about the transition of power in one of the world's oldest institutions, the Catholic Church. The procedures that unfold are a fascinating tapestry, woven from history, faith, the very practical need to prevent chaos and ensure continuity. It's a process that has evolved over 2 millennia, shaped by everything from medieval power struggles to modern technology. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain to explore the intricate and often surprising protocols set in motion from the very moment a pope breathes his last. We'll uncover the rare facts, delve into the rich history behind these traditions, reveal the secret rituals that are shielded from public view. From ancient confirmation methods to the destruction of sacred objects, we're going to walk through the entire process, step by step. This is the story of how the Vatican city-state navigates one of its most profound and challenging moments. So, grab your metaphorical history hats because we are about to embark on a journey deep into the heart of the Vatican. We'll look at the role of a special silver hammer and why the Swiss Guard changes its post. And make sure you stick around until the very end, because we'll be revealing one of the most surprising and symbolic traditions that concludes this solemn period. A detail you almost certainly have never heard before. Let's get started. So, how does the world officially learn that a pope has died? It's not as simple as a doctor signing a certificate. The tradition is far more ceremonial and deeply personal. The key figure is the Camerlengo, the Chamberlain of the Holy Roman Church. He's a cardinal who briefly becomes acting head of state of the Vatican. His first somber duty, formally verify the Pope's death. Traditionally, the Camerlengo would approach the Pope's bedside. In the presence of other high-ranking Vatican officials, he would call out the Pope's baptismal name, not his papal name, 3 times. For example, for Pope John Paul II, he would have called out, "Carol, Carol, Carol." The act is profoundly symbolic. It's a call to the man, not the office. A final personal address before the institution takes over. The silence after each call is the first confirmation. But there's another, more dramatic element. Historically, the Camerlengo would gently tap the Pope's forehead with a small silver hammer, the martelletto. It wasn't violent, but symbolic, to ensure no response. The tap is a physical confirmation to accompany the verbal one. It feels like the Middle Ages. Do they still use the hammer? Probably not. The Vatican is famously tight-lipped about modern procedures. With modern medicine, an electrocardiogram can confirm death. The last confirmed hammer use was in the 19th century. With the Pope's death confirmed, the next immediate act is one of symbolic destruction. The focus turns to one of the most powerful symbols of papal authority, the Fisherman's ring, or the Annulus Piscatoris, depicting St. Peter casting his nets from a boat. This ring was historically used to seal official documents, known as papal briefs. A dollop of hot wax would be placed on a document, and the Pope would press his ring into it, creating an official, forgery-proof seal. The traditional method involves taking that same small silver hammer used in the death confirmation ritual and striking the face of the ring, scarring the image of St. Peter. Then a chisel is often used to further score the face, ensuring it can never be used as a seal again. The ring isn't necessarily pulverized into dust, but it is rendered completely unusable. This act is more than just practical, it's a powerful symbol that the pontificate has ended. The authority of the deceased pope is concluded, and the seat of St. Peter is now vacant, a state known as sede vacante. The destruction of the ring is a public and irreversible declaration of this fact. It's a moment that says, this reign is over. Once the Pope's death is confirmed and the Fisherman's ring is destroyed, a palpable shift occurs throughout the Vatican city-state. The tiny nation enters an official period of mourning known as the Novem Diales, 9 days, a solemn, highly structured period of grief and prayer culminating in the Pope's funeral mass and burial. The first public sign, the great bells of St. Peter's Basilica tolling. Their sound echoes across Rome, a mournful announcement. Simultaneously, the Vatican flag at half-mast. Inside the Apostolic Palace, everything grows hushed and somber. Administrative bustle slows as focus turns to the rites. During the Novem Diales, specific liturgical protocols are enacted. Daily masses for the Pope's repose in St. Peter's Basilica and in chapels throughout the Vatican. Amidst the grand sweeping changes happening across the Vatican, there is one small but incredibly poignant visual change that speaks volumes. It involves the Swiss Guard, the world's smallest and oldest standing army, famous for their colorful Renaissance-era uniforms and their unwavering loyalty to the Pope. Their primary mission is to protect the pontiff. So, what happens when there is no pontiff to protect? In the moments after the Pope's death is declared, the Swiss Guard's role undergoes a subtle but significant shift. Guards posted at the entrances to the papal apartments will ceremonially abandon their posts. They withdraw from the doors, leaving them unguarded. This is not a dereliction of duty, it's the fulfillment of it. The iconic bronze doors, the main public entrance to the Apostolic Palace, are closed. Guards who stood sentinel there will reposition. They no longer guard the Pope's personal apartments, but their broader mission to protect the Vatican city-state and the College of Cardinals continues. Their focus shifts from protecting one man to protecting the body that will elect his successor. This change is deeply symbolic. The empty post outside the papal apartments is a stark representation of the sede vacante. Tourists and pilgrims passing through the courtyards would notice the absence of guards at their usual stations, a silent testament to the vacancy of the Apostolic See. Immediately following the withdrawal of the Swiss Guard, another ancient and practical tradition takes place: the sealing of the papal apartments. This isn't just a matter of locking the door and walking away, it is a formal, legally significant act that ensures the integrity of the Pope's private quarters and his personal effects during the sede vacante. The Camerlengo, accompanied by his aides and officials from the Apostolic Camera, proceed to the papal apartments. They verify everyone has vacated the premises, then begin the process of sealing every entrance. The main door, any side doors, and even the private elevator. The sealing itself is done with ribbons and wax seals. Red ribbon is typically stretched across the threshold of the doors. Hot wax is dripped onto the ribbon and the door frame. The Camerlengo then presses his own seal, or the seal of the Apostolic Camera, into the wax. This creates a physical barrier that cannot be broken without leaving obvious evidence. The reason for this dramatic sealing is twofold. First, it is to protect the Pope's personal property: papers, letters, journals, and personal belongings. These items are considered sacred and private, and they must be secured until they can be properly sorted. We've mentioned him several times already. Now let's focus on the single most important individual during the sede vacante, the Cardinal Camerlengo. His full title is the Chamberlain of the Holy Roman Church, and for this brief window between popes, he is the most powerful person in the Vatican. His role is ancient, dating to the 12th century, born of the need for stable governance when the throne is empty. The moment the Pope dies, the Camerlengo's authority is activated. He officially verifies that death destroys the fisherman's ring, seals the papal apartments. These are his first solemn duties. But his responsibilities go much further. He becomes acting head of state of Vatican City. His authority is circumscribed by apostolic constitution. The guiding principle is nihil innovator. Let nothing be changed. His job is to maintain the status quo. He manages day-to-day affairs. During sede vacante, he places the ombrellino, the pavilion umbrella, a red and gold striped umbrella above the crossed keys of St. Peter on his escutcheon. This emblem signals his temporary authority and appears across the Vatican. With the Vatican in mourning and the Camerlengo at the helm, the next crucial step is to gather the men who will choose the next pope. The College of Cardinals, often called the Princes of the Church, is a body of senior Catholic clergy appointed by the Pope. Their most solemn duty is to elect the Bishop of Rome, the successor of St. Peter. And so, a summons goes out across the entire globe. The Dean of the College of Cardinals is responsible for sending the official convocation. Today, it goes instantly. Encrypted emails, faxes, diplomatic cables. All cardinals under 80 on the day the see becomes vacant have the right and duty to participate. They are the cardinal electors. Cardinals over 80 may attend preliminary meetings but cannot enter the conclave or vote. Cardinals begin journeys from every continent Rome transforms into the world's focus. Cardinals arrive at airports, are whisked to residences in Rome or the Vatican, then enter the general congregations. While the cardinals gather and the Vatican administration operates under the Camerlengo, the focus of the Catholic faithful turns to saying a final farewell to the deceased pontiff. Between the second and third day after his death, the Pope's body is prepared and brought to St. Peter's Basilica to lie in state. This is a powerful and public tradition that allows millions to pay their respects. The preparation of the body is done with great care. White cassock, red chasuble, white mitre. A simple rosary is often entwined in his hands. The body is placed on a catafalque, a raised platform inside St. Peter's Basilica. A solemn procession moves the body from the Apostolic Palace into the Basilica. The Basilica doors open to the public, a line of mourners stretching through St. Peter's Square forms. World leaders and dignitaries file past the catafalque. Ordinary pilgrims file past, Roman citizens file past. They come to pray, they come to grieve, they come to be part of a historic moment. Inside the basilica, the atmosphere is hushed reverence punctuated by quiet prayer and weeping. The Pope is both a head of state and a spiritual father to 1.3 billion Catholics. The scale of public viewing is immense. For those in line, it is a final, personal encounter, a moment of connection that underscores the deep bond between Pope and faithful. The 9 days of mourning, the Novemdiales, reach their climax. The papal funeral mass, the Missa pro defuncto, Papa. This is typically held on the 4th, 5th, or 6th day. It is an event watched by the entire world. A grand solemn ceremony in the open air of St. Peter's Square. The Pope's body is placed into a simple cypress coffin. A white silk veil is placed over his face. A small bag of coins, one for each year of his pontificate, is placed inside a metal tube containing the rogito, a summary of his reign, is also placed inside. This cypress coffin is the first of 3. The funeral mass itself is presided over by the Dean of the College of Cardinals. The cardinals, dressed in scarlet, can celebrate on a platform on the basilica steps. The cypress coffin is placed on a carpet before the altar with an open book of the Gospels upon it. Throughout the Mass, the wind often turns the pages of the book. The liturgy is rich with symbolism and ancient prayers. After the final commendation and incensing of the coffin, the burial rites begin. The cypress coffin is carried back into St. Peter's Basilica. There it is encased in a second, larger coffin made of zinc or of lead. The metal coffin is hermetically sealed. This zinc or lead coffin is then placed inside a third, outer coffin made of elm or of oak, symbolizing the dignity of the office with the Pope laid to rest. The final and most critical phase of the sede vacante begins. The word conclave comes from the Latin cum clave, with a key. It refers to locking the cardinal electors away from the outside world to let them deliberate freely, and to pressure them to decide quickly. During this time, the Vatican staff undertakes a massive logistical operation to prepare the sealed environment where the election will take place. The entire precinct of the conclave includes the Sistine Chapel. It is meticulously swept for any kind of electronic listening or recording devices. Once inside the magnificent Sistine Chapel, under Michelangelo's iconic fresco of the Last Judgment, the cardinals take a solemn oath. After the oath, the master of pontifical liturgical celebrations gives the famous command, extra omnes, everybody out. The great doors are closed and locked from the inside and the outside. The conclave has officially begun. And there you have it, the intricate, solemn, and fascinating series of events that unfolds when a pope passes away. From the ancient confirmation rituals with a silver hammer to the modern-day security sweeps before the conclave, it's a process that perfectly encapsulates the Vatican, a blend of ancient tradition and contemporary reality. The most surprising part for me is the sheer practicality behind so many of these rituals, like destroying the fisherman's ring to prevent forgery, a medieval solution to a very real problem. What was the most surprising fact for you? Was it the calling of the Pope's baptismal name, the triple coffin, or perhaps the temporary authority of the Camerlengo and his special umbrella symbol? Let us know in the comments below. I'd love to read what stood out to you the most. These conversations are the best part of making these videos, as we all learn more together from the vastness of our shared history. If you found this journey into the heart of Vatican protocol as fascinating as I did, please consider subscribing to DCF Vanguards and hitting that notification bell. We dive deep into history, uncovering the rare facts and hidden stories that shape our world, and we have so much more to explore together. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thanks for being curious.